everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. And today I am going to be looking at some tights, pantyhose, hose, whatever you want to call them. But I'm going to be looking at some tights, and they are from the brand Heist. And Heist is a fairly new discovery for me that I discovered via the Tight Spot. So if you don't know, I purchase most of my hosiery from the Tight Spot, and also I work in collaboration with them as well. This, however, was purchased with my own money. So just so you know, let's get on to the product. So these are Heist The Shimmer tights, and they are in the colour olive. I have them in a UK 12 to 14, which is probably a medium to large-ish. They're a 50 denier. Are they a 50 denier? Yeah, they are. Interesting. And they are currently retailing on the Tight Spot for $16.95. But obviously, depending on when you're actually watching this, the usual retail value is $34.95. So they are on the more expensive side, but there are a lot of, I guess, sort of bonus plus points to these that kind of warrant a higher price tag. So let's have a little look at the packaging, shall we? So they arrived to me in almost like a separate sort of plastic bag, but I believe that the packaging, including the plastic, is actually recyclable, so we like that. And then it comes packaged in this sort of fold up, fold out, whichever way round, cardboard sort of packaging. And the front, very, very standard branding and the actual product itself. And then on the back we have a couple of pictures of the product, not in the right colour, may I add, but it just shows you a little full length, and it shows you the detail of the waistband and that kind of thing there. So they're quite nice to see. And then we just have some blurb and a couple of other sort of care instructions and little things like that I'm going to have a little look at now. So what does it say? It says The Shimmer. Sparkle day to night with the shimmer, soft and subtly iridescent. It will make any outfit shine. So these have a sort of metallic thread running through them, which is that sort of silver colour, which gives it the little kind of shimmeriness to it. It says gravity defying, seamless gusset free design for no sagging. Strong, soft recycled yarn, better for you and our planet. So a lot of the yarn that they use for this particular brand is all recycled. So as it says, a little bit better for the environment. Comfortable, adaptive waistband that doesn't dig or roll, it hugs. And you'll notice when I've got these on that they are actually a high-waisted tight with a very wide waistband. And I think they are right when they kind of say that because of that, it doesn't tend to dig in. There's a lot of nice material distribution depending on whatever your sort of shape or size is. I think most people will find that really, really comfortable. So it says here how to look after me so I can look after you. Please do wash me, ideally with your hands, realistically in your machine with care, cold and gentle. Don't bleach me, don't tumble dry me, do not iron me, or do not dry clean me. I'm just going to put it out there that whoever is ironing their tights is definitely a little bit psychotic. Yeah, I don't know why you would do that, but Machine wash on a cold 30 is gonna be absolutely fine. So they are 82% polyamide, 11% elastane, so quite a nice stretch point. I always think 10% or more is really nice and going to be quite comfortable. And then it says 7%, I never know if it's lame or lamy, but that is that metallic kind of thread going across, so there's a little bit of that introduced in there. And a little bit of sort of, I guess, trivia for you is that the Heist is a UK brand that is based in London, and if you want to check them out, they are the heist-studios.com. So let's have a little look in here. Now, I have said this before, and I do kind of feel like their packaging, whilst is nice, is a little bit like a sort of like PowerPoint presentation design. I do think that they could go a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit simpler and more classic. But yeah, it does sort of give me PowerPoint vibes, but very cool all the same. Yeah, doesn't really say too much. It just says that at the bottom here, which is always nice to hear, we are committed to you, your underwear and our planet. This is why this packaging is made from recycled materials, replanted trees, and it is 100% recyclable. It's nice to see a brand making an effort. Then we get a little bit of tissue paper, and then we get a first look at the tights. Oh, sliding everywhere. Wow. Okay, so straight off the bat, these look gorgeous. Let's get that rustling bag away. Okay, so let's have a little look, shall we? Oh yeah, these look lovely. Okay, what a lovely colour. So let's give you a little rundown of the design. So as I was saying, and as it says on there, they're a very high-waisted pair of tights. This ends up sort of, you can see that it's got a little bit of a arch to it. The shape here runs sort of down a little bit, so that kind of sits more onto your hips and gives you that sort of curved shape there, which actually again makes it really, really super duper comfy. The seam on this is sewn to absolute perfection. The detail on that is incredible. All the way along it is perfect. Yeah, stunning, absolutely stunning. And as we know, they are completely seamless, so no seams at all. But it is worth noting that there are, I don't know how well it'll pick up on camera, but there's some little kind of ribbed texturing here, and there's a little bit of it on this side too. And it's a little bit almost of a anti-slip, anti-rub reinforcement there, which again is a really lovely touch. That just kind of, it's again, it's a little bit of a detail effort. And then we have a little bit of shaping on the actual legs themselves, which I always find, especially on my feet, because there are 5, they're quite narrow. When there's a little bit of shaping, my ankles fit a little bit better as well. So yeah, there's a little bit of shaping to that, which is lovely. The outside texture of them is quite rough, but it's the roughness that you would expect that would come through with that particular sort of metallic fabric. Whether or not it's rough inside, we'll find out. But yeah, we get a little label in the back. And the label is actually, interestingly, it just says hi on it, which is kind of cute. And then the size. And then on the back, it says made in Italy. So that's nice as well. Italy is one of the places known for the manufacturing of very nice hosiery. But just interesting to note about the label, because I am that person who notices details like this, is that the label is actually facing upwards rather than downwards, which means that it's more likely to sit flush and be less irritating going upwards onto your back rather than it is downwards, curling up and also resting against the metallic fabric. So again, a really lovely touch, which means that you'll want to cut it out a lot less. And then do we have any little reinforcement? Let's see. We're a 50 denier with this sort of metallicness, so no, I don't think there's any sort of reinforcement there. It looks pretty even across the feet on the back and the front. That's not an issue for me at all. The fabric is obviously a 50 denier, so it's quite robust anyway, especially with the metallic thread. So yeah, these are lovely. So the metallic thread is a little bit softer inside, but we do still have that slightly rough feel. Now, the test of that will obviously be in the quality of the tights, because they can still feel really comfortable on, even if, you know, that metallic thread is a bit rough. So I think I'm pretty excited to put these on. So I'm going to do just that, and you'll have to come back and join me in a minute to see what they look like on. Okay, so as you can see, I have the tights on, and straight off the bat, I am just going to say that they are lovely. They are really, really lovely. Whether or not you're a fan of the colour, these do come in other colours. They come in a black and a blue at the moment. They did have some other colours, but I'm not quite sure if they're in stock anymore. But whether or not you like the colour and you just prefer the black, these are beautiful. I personally love the colour. I think it is labelled as olive, and I think it is perfectly olive, and the silver looks really gorgeous. They're interesting because the silver is definitely there all the time, but it does kind of dip in and out of that kind of shimmer look, less sparkly and more shimmer, which is really nice. Looks a bit more elegant and classic. Yeah, putting them on was an absolute dream. There was no issue at all with that. They are, as I said, they're a UK 12 to 14, so they're probably about what I would class as a medium to large. Very, very true to size. In fact, on me, I would say if they had a 10 to 12, I would probably go for those. But they only do a 10, then a 12 to 14, and then a 16 to 18. So comfortably, I would still just pick the 12 to 14. But yeah, they fit really well. There's lots of stretch and give here, even going up the leg and onto the thigh even. There's a really, really good amount of stretch here too. So that's absolutely brilliant. The feet, let me just show you on, as I said, we don't have any sort of reinforcement there at all, but they look really lovely. Again, because it's slightly more shaped, as I showed you before, it's actually fitting really lovely on the ankle. I was going to say wrist then, wow. They fit really lovely on the ankle and really close to the feet here as well. Not super duper sheer or anything like that. So the feet are lovely. And what I will say, I made the comment about the metallic fabric maybe being a little bit more rough, but when you've got them on, you don't sort of notice that kind of roughness on your leg. You know, you don't have a sort of chafe or anything like that. In all fairness, you will probably notice that if you have a little bit of a thigh rub, you'd probably notice that more because of the metallic thread. So just kind of bear that in mind. And also they might be a little bit more noisy. So again, just sort of bear that in mind if that's an issue for you. Don't really know why it would be, but some people like that to sort of know those things. But one thing I really like about these as well, and as somebody with sort of more shapely legs, I find that this happens quite a bit, is we will start off really beautiful at a sort of 50 denier, and then we will come up the leg and we'll come sort of onto the thigh, and we will be, you know, really really stretched, really pulled, and the fabric will be, you know, we'll go from a 50 to a 20, it'll become really see-through, but actually the colour and the material are sort of solid pretty much all the way up. So I think that in itself sort of is really, really lovely and shows the kind of quality of the stretch, the quality of the material when it's stretched, and the colour payoff as well. Now, I'm not going to completely show you everything because, you know, we are on YouTube, but I can say that the comfort waistband sits just up here on me, and it actually sits just sort of here, and it feels wonderful. It's a really soft fabric that's double layered, so there's hold to it and it stays where it is, but it doesn't feel like it's compressing you, or there's definitely no itch. It's a very velvety, almost like peach skin material. I can sort of show you the seam part here on the side, so you can see where it joins, and you can see how far it sort of comes down on the hip. But yeah, the fabric is really, really lovely, follows the colour of the tights, and is super duper thick as well. Yeah, as you can see, it goes sort of all the way up here, so really, really lovely. And yeah, it's just a really kind of lovely pair of tights. Do I think they are worth essentially £35? It's always funny when somebody's asking you whether or not a pair of very, very expensive tights are worth it, because £35 is a lot of money, and right off the bat most people will say, I would never spend £35 on a pair of tights. What a waste of money. At best I will get, you know, 4, 5, 6 wears out of them. I don't think you would get just that amount of wears out of these. I think if you look after them, keep them in a lovely little bag, I think you would be able to wear these multiple times over and over. I think I could get a good 2 years out of these. I wouldn't be wearing them all the time, so I think they would definitely last, possibly even longer than that. So in terms of wearability, they're a really gorgeous colour going into sort of spring, autumn, perfect kind of colours for those sort of things. I think they are worth it. The material that they've used is lovely. When I sort of look closely at sort of the weave of these, there's no sort of pulling. You can see things like this on the knee a bit better, but the material and the weave of these is beautiful, and the way they've put the metallic fabric in with it is really, really well done as well. There's the distribution across is perfect. Everything's been really thought about. It's been manufactured really well. The quality of the material is fabulous. Like I pointed out, the seam at the top that joins the tights to the waistband is perfect, absolutely perfect. We're going back to making something that is almost sort of tailored to fit. So in terms of quality, in terms of packaging, the packaging's nice whether or not you think it looks like a PowerPoint presentation. The packaging is lovely, it's really well packed, wrapped, kept. The quality is beautiful, and let's face it, the design is very unique. Seamless, the colour, the shimmer, the top, and let's face it, actually a lot of the time having a UK size is quite different. It's usually a small to medium, medium to large, etc. So I think they're worth it. They are a little bit pricey, but if you're somebody who's used to Wolfords or Folks, these will be in exactly the same price bracket. I do actually think that Heist stands up there with Walford and Folk as being a real quality brand, and it's really lovely to see that they are expanding. So definitely take a little look at them. Don't forget, you can buy them from the Tight Spot, or of course you can buy them from Heist directly, but definitely check them out. And if you do happen to find them on the Tight Spot, you are more than welcome to use my code, which is Langford, and that will give you 10% off, you know, shameless plug. But yeah, I do think you should go and check them out. Not everything's shimmer, but there's some really iconic styles and some beautiful colours, pastels, deeper shades and neutrals as well. So I am going to give these a 10 out of 10 because they beautiful to put on, beautiful to look at, all that good stuff. So yes, highly recommended. If you're looking for something different and lovely, then definitely check them out because they're super beautiful. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, and that is going to be it from me today. Thank you for coming and checking out the Heist Shimmer with me, and I will see you all soon for another one. Take care, bye.